Okay, so in this video, I'm going to go over sourcing seasonal items. I'm going to show you the settings that you need to put in order to really do this. I'm going to touch on inventory management and supply chain management. So when to order and how many of these to order, and then tips and tactical arbitrage on organizing your data to go through this as quickly as possible. One thing I'm really going to look for in my filters is on the product search page is for seasonal buy box price and calculations, use average price date range. And all that's doing is just calculating that price at that particular instance. So let's say you want to source for Halloween and you want to just look for data. Let's say you want to scan a Halloween store and you want to compare all of the prices and everything during the month of October. You can put these dates in here. And the reason why that's so important is if you were just to run a scan on a Halloween store now, all of the prices are going to be different, rank is going to be different, everything is going to be different. And this right here will allow you to compare those prices accurately to make a decision on whether you want to source those or not. Now, I will say this will not work for anything that's new to this Halloween that was not around last Halloween. You're really not going to know. So it's just going to be things that were popular the previous Halloween. And to kind of go off of that, in Keepa, you can even see maybe the previous Halloween before. So it's if it was around long enough, if it was around since 2016's Halloween, you can see that as well. So you could see 2016's Halloween, 2017's Halloween, depending on when you watch this. So that's pretty cool. Now, you're going to set your scan up the same, like I showed you. You're going to set your scan up the same. You're going to plug in any offers you get. And in terms of picking the store, there's really two ways you can go about doing this. There's really two strategies. You can either go after one whole store like that's more Halloween based, which is fine, and you can do an easy bulk on that store. You can do another store. So let's say I want to scan a store that might not be Halloween based, but let's say they have Halloween stuff. I know, for example, Menards always has a ton of Halloween stuff every single year. And for Menards, because it's not a whole Halloween store, we really have two ways we can do this. One, we can go to their easy bulk section and see, do they even have a section that looks like Halloween? So maybe home and decor, maybe, and see what's popular with Halloween then. Maybe pick outdoors. That might be a good one. But, paint, like I wouldn't want to do an easy bulk on paint because, and I'm just guessing here, I don't think it's going to sell better in Halloween. But you can do this with everything, right? It doesn't have to be Halloween. Like, let's say I want to run outdoor stuff for spring and I only want to see what's selling well between March 1st and May 1st. So I'm going to run a scan on all outdoor stuff with the dates I just specified, and you can do that. Now, the last thing I want to say is if you want to get very specific, so for Menards, we were just kind of using common sense and guessing right here when setting up our scan. So like I mentioned, we could have chose home and decor. We could have chose kitchen. What Halloween kitchen stuff is selling well during that time. But to get really specific, we are going to have to go to, but to get really specific in Menards, we're going to have to go to Menards. We can do a search like Halloween. And then, okay, see, so there's only 15 results here in Menards. So this might not even be a good store to do. But what you would do is, let's say it was a good store. We could take this link and then just do a category search on it. So we would turn off the easy bulk and then throw in the link, and then we could set up our scan that way. So there are several strategies to this. So that might be something you want to do as well. If you go the easy bulk route on a store, so maybe just do a search with whatever you want to do. So the 4th of July is past here, but let's say it was May, I could do 4th of July and just see what's popping up in this store. And that's something you can do as well. Now, the last thing I want to touch on is how many of these do you need to order and when is the best time to do this? And this is kind of a loaded question, so it's really hard to say this is exactly when you need to do this and when. But my recommendation is analyze your business model. Are you sending things to yourself or are you sending things to a prep center, and then account for that much time? So I'll use me as an example. I have a prep facility, and one of my prep facilities is a little slower. You have to send the items from the retailer to the prep center. The prep center may take upwards of 72 hours sometimes. then it has to get into Amazon, and then it has to get uploaded in Amazon system. So we're looking at least 2 or 3 weeks. I would say 3 just to play it safe. And that way you'll know, okay, so just tell yourself, I want my inventory to land into Amazon for Halloween last week of September, which means that I need to be buying this stuff for this business model early August to mid August. And in terms of how many to buy, it's hard to touch on how many of an exact quantity you need to buy, but just keep in mind for seasonal items, when you're running these searches, guys, if whatever you get stuck with is going to be have a very slow sell-through rate afterwards, most of the time, it's better to underestimate than it is to overestimate. So maybe buy a little bit of each item. Don't go too heavy in on one item. For me, that's a safer strategy. Now, if you come across an item that's just looking great, price points there, ROIs there, everything is looking fantastic, I'm not going to say to not do that, but I think that there needs to be some kind of awareness when going into this strategy. It is a more advanced strategy. I know I have this video for your first hour. I really wouldn't recommend doing this from the get-go, but once you get more comfortable with the software and you get more acquainted to it, I would then start implementing this and you can make a lot of money. So with that being said, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video and I will see you next time.